So let's take a think about this. Okay, so just Botany 101, plants are living organisms and they like to stay living organisms. If you eat them, they die. And so they have defenses just like any other living organism. And while animals can run away or fight back, plants can't. And so they use a lot of different things, but poison is one of their main deterrents. They use these defense chemicals to poison the animals that are trying to eat them. And they have hundreds of different ones geared towards different animals, insects, and pathogens that are trying to eat them. This is why most plants in the world are inedible. We sort of know this intuitively. If you got lost in the woods here and you ran out of food, you wouldn't be able to eat any random plant. Most of them would make you very sick. I don't think anyone is going to be able to spot the vegetables in this picture, right? So you have to know exactly what to eat, and the reason is because there are these defense chemicals. So here are just a few sort of categories of the ways that plants defend themselves. They use lectins. It's something people are gaining more interest in, but there's tons of different kinds of lectins. There's 2,500 different plants use cyanide that we know of. There's different various toxins, phytates, tannins, oxalates, hormone disruptors, nutrient blockers, things that make you very sensitive to light. And nightshades we've known about for thousands of years, and yet for some reason we're still eating these things. So again, just Botany Biology 101, I literally learned this in 7th grade, that plants and animals are in an evolutionary arms race. Plants becoming more and more poisonous so less and less animals can eat them so that they can survive and thrive. And animals becoming more and more adapted to the specific poisons in specific plants so that they can eat that plant and survive and thrive. And this is where they get their dedicated food resources. This is like koalas and pandas. They eat a very specific diet. They eat other plants. They will get very sick. The way I came to the way of eating that I do, which is really just meat and water, is 22 years ago when I was taking cancer biology at the University of Washington in Seattle. We went over how plants use defense chemicals in order to defend themselves, but we were looking at this from a cancer perspective, so we were looking at carcinogens. And we learned 20 years ago that Brussels sprouts alone had over 136 identified human carcinogens in them. And that just, white cap, I'm telling you, this is why kids, no one likes Brussels sprouts, right? And that's why, right? That bad taste, that bitter taste is your brain and your tongue, which are sophisticated machines, and they can tell you, like, hey, this is bad for you, spit it out. So if and that's what we would normally naturally do as a kid. So you give an infant a piece of broccoli, they will hate you for it, You give them a piece of bacon, and their eyes light up, right? So we were learning that, white-cap mushrooms had over 100 known carcinogens, but also spinach, kale, lettuce, celery, cabbage, cucumber, broccoli, literally given pages and pages of every plant that you've ever come across in the grocery store, and not a single one had less than 60 known human carcinogens in them. They were quite abundant. We have research from Professor Bruce Ames from Berkeley in the 1980s that actually went into this, which we'll go on to in a minute. We were quite taken aback by this, obviously. We were very, very shocked, as some of you may be right now. And I remember thinking in my head, well, but vegetables are still good for you though, right? And our professor must have just read our minds. He looked at us like, you guys aren't getting this. And he just said, I don't eat salads. I don't eat vegetables. I don't let my kids eat vegetables. Plants are trying to kill you. So I was like, right, forget plants. And I just stopped. And you go to the grocery store and everything has plants, right? Everything's either is plants or has plants in the ingredients. And I just walked around and I just came across it's eggs and meat. I'm like, okay, well, so I just eat eggs and meat. And that's what I did for a number of years and had massive health benefits. I was playing professional rugby while in university, and my athletic performance, as well as just my physical health, just increased dramatically. It was just night and day difference. And again, still feeling those positive results 22 years later.